2, 1.
I found you. That's the future.
I noticed.
I don't know how many years it's taken in the future, or how many of these Nestle After 8 dark mint thins from Costco I've eaten in the process of trying to find you.
All I
Here
know,
we are in the future.
but in the future, time has no meaning because time is not a function of the ether that we had to upload ourselves into.
I guess when we were connecting on Ether, we weren't in the right file format, like compatible file formats.
No, I was using MPEG transport stream too.
Yeah, and I was using like WebM or like 3GP or something.
WebM is a good replacement for Flash, though. I feel like most things that we're using Flash like 10 years ago. Oh, I mean, in before time measure, 10 years before the before time.
Uh-huh.
Most of those functions have been resolved. But I guess the most important thing now that we have found each other is that we need to leave a document for the future. We need to inform the future about the future.
I agree. This is very important.
I'm aware that there's some footage that we have to review. I think that it's going to leave me with a lot of questions, and I'm hoping that we can arrive at some answers.
Yes, and as we know, I am an historian of the After Times. I have very many answers, and I've compiled this footage for us to share from the future, with the future, so that they may avoid the mistakes our society made to effectively end itself. So let us count down. Let us begin.
It is altogether fitting and proper. So I'm noticing a tremendous amount of distortion in the air, in the trees, in the houses. Can you speak to this experience?
Yes, I mean, there's a certain thing that happens when you decide to bench your quarterback who was once in the Super Bowl, who led your team to the Super Bowl, in favor of a quarterback who cannot consistently throw the ball farther than 8 yards.
Really?
I'm pretty sure there are 5 and 6-year-olds who can throw a ball, give it a bit of spiral, 8 yards. And yet, the 49ers decided that Blaine Gabbert was the answer.
That's incredible. I mean, my only understanding of the situation was that, OJ could run really fast, and he did it. So, moving on, there's a similar amount of artifacting I'm seeing emerging out of the sun. I'm seeing what appears to be some sort of perhaps divine intervention into the ways of man and nature. I'm not familiar with this. What are your considerations?
I mean, a big issue was that Colin Kaepernick was a running quarterback, and a lot of Jim Harbaugh's efforts were to turn him into a pocket passer. And when you're trying to become a pocket passer, especially when you don't have much of an offensive line, of course, your vision is going to be like this constantly. It's going to be zooming in and out, trying to find angles. You're discouraged from running, but, you know, you've got the pocket collapsing around you, and you have to quash your natural instincts to be mobile. And you know, the play that got the 49ers to the Super Bowl was that really nice 69-yard run scramble that Colin Kaepernick did against the Green Bay Packers in 2013 when it was like 1 degree outside. It was brutally cold in Lambeau Field. It was that run, that scramble, that eventually won the game for them, but it was for some reason in the best interest of Jim Harbaugh to make Colin Kaepernick a pocket passer, and I think that just really punished them.
I see. I'm aware insofar as OJ did it and he could run really fast. This section is particularly disturbing. I'm seeing a profound amount of color discoloration in the horizon, into the sky. It's honestly affecting me, and it's making me consider just how much was lost when it was decided that nothing mattered anymore. I mean, and now we're having this section where it appears there's some emergency, some first responders who are trying to deal with the reality, you know, corruption or distortion, whatever it is. I'm not 100% clear here, but obviously there's a continuity of the events. I don't know if you have insight into that, but I was hoping at least some to understand these connections, you know, somewhat better.
Yeah, I believe the fire crews were there on scene to try to restore the power in the Superdome after Beyonce knocked it out during the Hard Bowl. And then just in terms of the color distortion, that is what the world looks like after your team loses the Super Bowl.
I see.
That is just that bottom out level of, you have invested nearly 6 months into the success of this team that in the last stages, because of Jim Harbaugh's inability to run a team in the red zone, to have success at scoring in the red zone. You know, that's what that feeling, that's what that failure in coaching results in, is just a complete turning upside down of the world. You know, it's a failure of leadership. It's a collapse of judgment. It's the decision to pursue certain directions in society that ultimately are not sustainable, to the point that the very fabric of your team starts to fall apart. You know, if you look at the roster in 2020, how many of the players are injured? Jimmy Garoppolo is injured. George Kittle is injured. Nick Bosa is injured. Deebo Samuel is not playing right now. Dee Ford is hurt. It's just they're like a second or third string team right now.
It makes sense, given that we know that OJ could run really fast, and he did it.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing some strong themes going on here. themes of a haze, themes of glitches seeping out, themes of wildlife and of changes in the sea level. I'm seeing themes of uncertainty and themes of what human beings will leave behind, what artifacts of our time here will be left, whether it's clothes or toys or cars or buildings, and how long these things may or may not last, how long anything is going to last once time itself stops being the before time and becomes whatever comes next. Do we have any predictions?
Yeah, I mean, this is what Candlestick used to look like. Just the haze. I mean, that place was a dump by the time 49ers moved out to Levi Stadium. But
this tremendous distortion here as well.
Yeah. This is what the world starts to look like when the Raiders play well. We had a year fairly recently where the Raiders were genuine contenders in the playoffs until their car broke down. And luckily we were saved from what we see here as a black hole.
My God.
Which is the Raiders cheering section, the fan section, where even Raiders pick fights with other Raiders. They start swearing at each other for who is swearing at each other in order to judge who is the more authentic fan.
My only concern is that OJ did it and he could run really fast.
OJ did do it.
He could run really fast.
He wasn't taking his medicine, and because he wasn't taking his medicine, his hands swelled up. And in that moment, the glove did not fit, and so they did indeed acquit him. But if he had been taking his medication, that inflammation would have gone down.
I suppose as we near the end of what was, the only question that is left is, what can we do?
I think we just have to win the games we can. You know, the goal of the game is to score more points than the other team, and it's just about blood, sweat, and tears, baby. Like, just grit it through. Just, you know, we got to score points, and we gotta treat, you know, every single game like it's the first game of the season, or every single game is an elimination game. You know, every game is Game 7. You know, and if we don't go into there with that mentality, we don't go in there with that sense of urgency, then we will not have the fire, the heart that we need to go and keep winning games. It's about winning games.
Go Dubs.